Greetings, everyone, and welcome to a special online event today called Explore Healing Love Qigong for Women, the Taoist path to reclaim your sexual energy for radiant health, spiritual growth, and bliss. I'm Nadira Ade, and as a sacred sensualist and senior course manager here at the Shift Network, I am very thrilled to be hosting today's program. Bringing you Sharon Smith, senior teacher of Universal Healing Tao and director of Immortal Sisters of the Tao Foundation. I'm so excited that I get to do this and that this gets to be part of the conversations that we're having. So it's my pleasure to invite you or welcome you to the session. Welcome, Sharon.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be able to speak with you about these practices that are so important to me in my life, and I love to share them. So thank you for giving me this opportunity.
It is my honor. So I want to dive in. In my mind, I'm kind of wondering, how deep can we go today? At the end of our time together, we will share how you can make a bigger commitment to your own transformation with Sharon through a groundbreaking course titled Healing Love Qigong for Women, a Taoist path to activate your sexual energy for radiant health, spiritual growth, and bliss. So I have had the pleasure of getting to do a deep dive into some of your teachings and sharings as we were preparing for this conversation, Sharon. And one of the things that I loved, there was um, an abdominal teaching that you were sharing that I got to enjoy as I was preparing to settle for the day. And then there was a teaching that you were sharing also about the value of being a weed as opposed to a hothouse flower. And just sitting with both of those and thinking about the world that we're navigating, the life that we're all living. It it feels like it's really needed right now, that we need to settle into our bodies, that we need to be gentle with ourselves. We need to be kind with ourselves. And so I'm excited to go on this exploration with you today. Um, Before we dive in on the teaching portion of the conversation, can you share for me and for our listeners a little bit about what put you on your path? How did we get you to be the you that you are today?
I often contemplate that. It's such a good question. Um, I started this path, I think, 46 years ago, 1978. I was a photographer and I just moved to New York City, and I had a lot of physical problems related to my profession. My shoulders were up to my ears. I had a lot of tension in my mid-eyebrow area from looking at the world through a heavy object. And also, I was smoking pot all day, every day. And I was just, I was a young person. I was 27. I sort of didn't really know how to deal with life very well. And somebody I respected said, I think you would like Tai Chi.
Mm.
So I found a Tai Chi class. And you have to remember, in those days, there was no internet. There was no way of communicating the way that we communicate today. No email, no, you had to go somewhere, pick up the phone, or by serendipity, find what you were looking for. So I found this Tai Chi school, and I was there for 2 years, and it addressed a lot of my physical issues. But I did not experience this mysterious thing called chi. And it bothered me. Like, why am I not experiencing chi? Well, around this time when I was having this insight about myself, um, some of the students and I noticed that our teacher was changing the way that he was teaching. And it turned out he was studying with a young Thai man in Chinatown who was Mantak Chia. And at that time, Mantak Chia was only teaching Asian people, but the Tai Chi teacher, Don On, he invited Mantak Chia to come to his studio and teach. And I was in the first class of Western students that Mantak Chia taught. And I was fascinated. After 2 days, I experienced the flow of chi. I felt warmth, I felt vibration, I felt pulsation, and it was real. It wasn't my imagination. And so I started studying with Mantak Chia, and he introduced us, it was a small group. He introduced us to all kinds of things that I was completely unaware of, but fascinated by. And one of the most important ones was the sexual energy practices. So that was the beginning of my work with these practices. And the practice has been ongoing for me, that practice since 1981. So that's like 43 years. And it's gone through changes because I've gone through changes. I'm not a young woman anymore. I'm an elder. My intention for my practice has evolved and grown over time. And I really feel like it's like learning, like receiving the learning manual that we all missed out on.
Yeah.
And so it's with a lot of pleasure that I teach this material.
A couple things. One, I just want to acknowledge how amazing it is that you've been working with Montauk Chia. Shout out to Montauk Chia, Shift Network faculty also, for so long. That's amazing. And I also want to ask you, as you've been on your journey, I remember that first time when you feel your own life force and the buzzing and how it shows up for you, how opening and expansive it feels. Have you experienced, as you've navigated the journey of your life, and you said now you're an elder, have you felt like you've needed to rediscover yourself along that journey and in that process?
Well, the important thing to remember is when you get in touch with your life force energy and you're able to circulate it, it's rejuvenating. So there's this constant feeling of creation and recreation. And this is part of the sexual energy practice, is to retrieve the creative force of your sexual energy and use it for healing, for better relationships, for more bliss, and even for spiritual evolution.
Mm,
So it's so important, I think, to put these practices in that bigger context,
yeah,
to recognize that sexual energy is different from having sex.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can you say a little bit more about that? How they're different?
Yeah. So sexual energy is the energy that wants to create and grow and evolve. And eventually, it's what the evaporation of it is an aspect of our transformation in the death process. You can say that sexual energy is related to Jing. Jing is the original primal force that we received as an energetic download, actually, in that moment of conception when the sperm meets the egg. There's an energetic download. It's the way that I describe it. Our culture describes it as, our genetic heritage. But it's also not just material, it's immaterial. There's an energy behind it. And that energy is what creates your life force. So that's the primal energy. That's the primal force. But then as an embryo, that energy develops and you create all your organs and glands. So we say Jing creates Qi. That's what vital life force is. And then if you have enough Qi, you can work on your spirit. Qi creates, I'm sorry, Qi creates Shen. So
Okay.
Jing, Qi, Shen. Jing is primal.
Okay. I'm noticing that I'm feeling tingles on my body as you're speaking and as you're sharing. And it's reminding me of the experience of being in a delivery room when someone comes through, or also being in a room when someone makes their transition out. And you can feel like it feels like those gates open and we're feeling that primal energy. Um, that's a whole other thing. Um, but so I want to bring it back to what we're talking about today. We're going to experience a guided inner smile and breast massage practice that awakens warmth, clears tension, and will leave our whole bodies feeling alive and nourished. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm very excited there. And then also to learn how your sexual sovereignty can be reclaimed by honoring your creative force as sacred, building profound self acceptance and the power to consciously direct your energy. And then also to learn how we can use the microcosmic orbit to circulate sexual energy to nourish your brain, organs, and glands and create more vitality and radiance in your body mind.
So let's say that all women these days have lots of messages coming out at them.
Yeah.
Messages from the media, social media, advertising, pornography, organized religion, new age ideas about who the goddess is and what that means. These are a lot of messages that women are receiving. The thing I like about this practice and all of the practices that I will be teaching, I'm going to be teaching 6 practices during this session. A 6 healing sounds practice for the reproductive system, the inner smile meditation, the microcosmic orbit, a few different breast massage techniques, circulating the yin essence, which I describe as the unique internal cocktail that we can all make from our nurturing, our compassion, our creativity, and our juicy erotic vitality, the circulation of the yin essence. And then finally, a meditation for the glandular system. So those are the practices I'm going to teach, and they all serve the purpose of reconnecting us to ourselves in the deepest way, which allows us to feel sovereignty over our bodies, our emotions, and our minds. If we are distracted outside and we don't listen to our inner messages, it's very hard for us to feel like we are self sovereign individuals.
Yeah.
So it's about honoring the creative force, the vital force of sexual energy instead of feeling shame around it. It's about clearing a lot of negative emotions that we all hold in our reproductive system and in our breast tissue.
Mm.
It's about uh, using the basic pathways that we know from traditional Chinese medicine as the highways for that energy to flow through the body so that it can irrigate our organs, our glands, our emotional bodies. Also, it's about getting in touch with the magnetic force of yin power. You know, we live in a world right now that is overly yang. You know, if there's a big imbalance in our world is overly yang. It's about more, better, expand, get bigger, work harder.
Keep going, don't stop, not unless completed.
Yeah, yeah. And this is an imbalance in our world. And I remember reading somewhere that the Dalai Lama said that women were going to heal the world.
Yeah.
And the way to get in touch with your own creativity, your own compassionate nature is to have an internal practice.
Yeah.
And anyway, I don't know if that answers your question or if I
It answers questions and then some. It's beautiful. It feels as though, going back to what you were saying about how you were introduced to, like your first teacher who then led you to Montauk Chia, there's this feeling of, almost like a hero's journey or a heroine's journey for yourself. And something about that ties so beautifully, in my mind at least, it ties so beautifully to this journey that we're taking into ourselves and into our bodies, and that each step prepares you, for the teacher you find at the next way station or at the next crossroads, and that, if you keep following the clues, you keep following the pull or the call, and the better we get to know ourselves, the more we recognize the feel and the sound of the call when it's coming in, and the invitation that is being issued to them. So for anybody who's listening, here is your invitation, here is your call. Please definitely check in with yourself, and feel the upwelling that's coming. So I know you have something, a response that you want to share about the heroine's journey, or more to share about the heroine's journey. So I'm going to hand it back to you.
Thank you for recognizing that. It's very touching to me because we all are on that journey. It doesn't look the same for everyone. And as we grow and evolve and we start to listen more to our own creativity and we take risks, that journey becomes so satisfying. And, I started this practice when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, and I'm 74 now. And I don't feel like my life is over at all. I feel like the creativity that I planted seeds for long ago is now finally blossoming. And it's like a miracle and it's beautiful. So thank you for recognizing that.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing all of that. It really inspires me because, I've been on my journey for a while. We're all on our journeys. And it feels like you are somebody who's saying, keep going. Here's where you can get to. There's more to come. And there's so much more before you as well. It's beautiful. It's very touching to my heart and very personally inspiring. So thank you. I want to make sure that we have a chance to learn about Sharon's upcoming program, where you can go much farther into the work that we have started to touch on today. We are so excited and honored to be hosting Sharon for the upcoming program, Healing Love Qigong for Women. And you can follow along with us at womensexualenergy.com. And you just type that directly into your browser or click the link provided on the event page. And this course is going to open you up. It's going to take you deep into yourself, as Sharon has already started sharing. And speaking of, it's going to give you the clues to find the way stations in your own journey and into yourself You probably have already been getting the call. That's why you're here. You were inspired to be here for a reason. And we're so grateful to be able to invite you to the conversation or have you participate in this conversation with us. So remember, the URL is womensexualenergy.com. And when you get to the page, you can just scroll down to the place where you will see the headline that says what you will discover in these 7 weeks. And so I'm going to take some time to talk through the modules. I think we'll explore what each module is going to cover. If you want to follow along, again, you can go to womensexualenergy.com and follow along and dive in on the conversation. So let's start with module 1. Take care of your jade gate with 6 healing sounds for the reproductive system to restore flow and joy.
So this module, Nadira, uses one of the most widely practiced Qigong forms, the 6 healing sounds, with the reproductive system. Our reproductive systems have a reflexology relationship to our internal organs. And one of the purposes of the 6 healing sounds is to release trapped emotions like fear, like anger, like impatience and worry. And did I leave anything out? Sadness. That's a big one. And we hold those emotions in our internal organs and also in our reproductive system. So this is a way to release some of this negative emotional energy that many women hold in that part of their bodies, either from fear or past sexual trauma or difficult experiences giving birth, perhaps. And so this is like step 1. Let's release some negative emotions that we might be feeling in this area. So that's what we do in that first session.
That's amazing. I actually was just having a conversation recently, probably prompted by the fact that we were going to be having this discussion about the experience that happens when we are meditating and feelings start coming up in response, as we're clearing, moving energy, and then the feelings start to come up. This feels like such a perfect opening to support people and how they navigate that experience. We have so much that's sitting in our bodies, just waiting for us to acknowledge it and see it and feel it again. So beautiful. Module 2 is flood yourself with love through the Taoist secret of the inner smile to radiate gratitude and vitality.
I actually think this is the core practice. This is the core practice. And in the beginning, we will learn how to manifest some really juicy, happy feelings that express gratitude and joy, and to spread that throughout the body, throughout the mind, throughout the spirit. We'll use very particular techniques to do this, but after you learn what this is, you can go right to that place and just be there. And I've discovered over the years that deepening the inner smile is where it's at. I mean, when you can go with your inner smile into the cellular level of your organs, into the very structure of your DNA, that is real transformation.
You know what this reminds me of, the practice that I've heard a lot of people speak of, and I was encouraged to do it as well when I was pregnant, is to to send love, consciously send love to your belly and to your baby, and to say, I love you, and how that moves oxytocin and happy love hormones through our bodies. But we aren't encouraged to do it to ourselves often enough. And I love that invitation and reminder. The inner smile practice. Okay. Module 3, open and clear the path of chi with the microcosmic orbit to circulate energy and awaken your inner power.
We like this because, you know, this was the first practice that I learned with Master Chia. And we spent 2 whole days doing this. So you have to remember, this was 1981. You had 2 whole days to spend on the microcosmic orbit. Fortunately, enough people have done this practice so that, it's like the 100 monkey theory, where, a certain threshold has been reached, and it's much easier now to open the microcosmic orbit, which is considered to be one of the major acupuncture channels in the body that feeds your organs and glands. Now, when you go to the acupuncturist, they take your pulse, they look at your tongue, and they might say, oh, your liver is wiry, or your spleen is damp, or, they have all kinds of observations from those things. This channel is not related to a particular organ channel. It is considered to be a reservoir that feeds your organs and glands. So meditating on this particular circuit in the body allows opening of space for energy to flow. And then once your orbit is open, and it takes practice, this is not something you're going to do one time. Ideally, you're going to do this every day for a period of time. But once it's open, then it's like your road is clear. You can circulate life force energy. You can circulate purified emotional energy. You can exchange energy with a partner. You can circulate your own sexual energy. You have a path. So this is a really important part of the series.
The description that you just gave reminds me of the feeling of going on retreat, and how after being on retreat, I've described it as feeling like I'm a window pane that's been scrubbed clean. That's what this makes me think of, that you get everything cleared out, clear what's on the wires, and then you can move through. Would you recommend, when people are doing this practice here, that they treat it almost like a retreat? Or you said you got to spend a couple days doing this practice. They'll be doing it daily for a period
Yes,
of time.
I'm going to recommend that people practice daily in between sessions.
Okay.
So the first week, they're going to practice the healing sounds. Second week, they're going to practice the inner smile. The third week, they're going to practice the microcosmic orbit. When we get to the end of this, I'm going to put together a practice, a little recipe formula for people to use.
Beautiful. And then they'll be able, as they're practicing and developing this increased sovereignty and awareness, that then they will also be able to say, I feel like I need a little bit more of this. I'm going to lean into this part of the practice. Amazing.
For sure.
Okay, let's keep moving. I'm very excited about this course. I'm so into this. So for module 4, in module 4, we are going to learn to ring the bells of love with breast massage to awaken yin energy and deepen self-nourishment. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Sure. So bells of love is a term from the older Taoist texts. And, our breasts are there to nurture the next generation, right? That's their purpose, actually. And many of us are not mothers. We haven't had children. And others who have had children are no longer breastfeeding. But that does not mean that the nurturing energy has disappeared. We all have that nurturing energy, and we need to circulate it so that it doesn't get stagnant. So there's no feeling of congestion in the breast tissue. We're also all receiving messages all the time about breast cancer. And they're real messages, but they're also the only messages we receive. That and, having our breasts be objectified. So this is a way to get in touch with this part of our physical bodies, which we identify with so much. No matter what your sexual orientation is, whether you're a mother or not, there's a connection to the breasts that has to do with our identity. And it's important to direct our desire for sovereignty and self-love into all parts of our body, including the breasts. So we're going to do very simple practice here today in a little while, but that particular session will be devoted to breast massage and breast health and practice to awaken our own connection to this important part of who we are.
This portion of the conversation feels, all of this conversation feels very important, but the potential in this portion of the conversation feels so significant to me and in the course. And I just wanted to take a moment and share personally that how you touched me in an awareness that I had related to breast cancer and fear. That so much of the messaging that we get around our breasts is about breast cancer. And I noticed while being on retreat that I could not feel my breasts at one point. And over the course of the retreat, I came to understand that it was because I had pulled my energy out of them because of fear and pulling away from this potentially hazardous portion of my body. And it was amazing to have a chance to sit with that and explore it. And then to also consciously pour my energy back into my breast tissue very intentionally and thoughtfully. And I know the connection between navigating our bodies, feeling our bodies, the chi moving in our bodies, and our breasts, and the fear and the objectification that you mentioned, it's so powerful, and so many people are dealing with it. The next module, module 5, is awaken the secrets of the goddess with yin essence breathing to nourish your vitality and creative power.
Okay. So, this particular module is my evolution of the understanding of ovarian breathing, which I learned from Master Chia. And so what I came to understand is that our yin essence as women comes out of our bodies. It's physical. It's body related. So we have breasts, we have a heart, we have ovaries, we have a vulva, we have a vagina, we have a uterus. All of these aspects of who we are also have energy, right? There's creativity in the ovaries. There's nourishing in the breasts and also in the uterus. There's erotic vitality in the vulva and the clitoris and the yoni. There's compassion in the heart. These are all different kinds of energy. So this module is about getting in touch with all these different energies in our physical bodies, combining them into what you might call a yin elixir, you know. In the old ancient Taoist texts, there's a lot of discussion about compounding the pill or the elixir. It's like making your own medicine. So this is about making our own medicine and then circulating this yin essence in the body. Now, everybody's medicine is going to look a little different, even day to day. You know, sometimes my yin essence has more creativity in it. Sometimes it has more nurturing. Sometimes it has more erotic vitality. So there's no like one way, like it's 25% this, 25% this, 25. No, it's your medicine. You're making your own medicine out of your own energy. And the circulation of this in your physical body is healing.
I feel like in my own personal life, when I start getting excited about the energy that's moving in a space, I start to want to run around the room. And I'm noticing that I want to move my body because I'm getting very warm and very excited. So I'm going to continue on so that we can get to your exercise that you're going to share with us. But for module 6, we're going to irrigate the field with an endocrine system meditation to awaken inner bliss.
Yeah. So this is about hormones, basically, and glandular secretions, which are messages to our bodies to feel a certain way, to do a certain thing. Every one of our glands is affected energetically by the other glands. So we're going to work with meditation to spread bliss throughout our glandular system.
And in module 7, the culminating module, we will establish Taoist female energy practices for daily, monthly, and lifelong nourishment.
So the thing is, these are 6 practices. And there are even other practices that we're not going to deal with in this particular session. But it can be overwhelming to think that you have to do all this. You don't want this to be a chore. You want to have the joy associated with it and the fun associated with it and the nourishment associated with it. So I've developed different recipes, formulas, protocols for daily practice, for weekly practice, monthly practice, and even because I've done this so long, I have some vision of like what a lifelong practice looks like.
Yeah.
So it's an important module because it puts it all together. You know, whenever you do any kind of applied magic, for instance, like, or even if you throw the I Ching or you read tarot or, you know, you do some form of divination, one of the most important steps in that is how are you going to fix the omen? When I say fix, I don't mean repair. I mean, like in the old days when, and I was one of them, people worked in a dark room and, you know, printed black and white photographs. There's one bath, you put the picture and it's called the fixer. You put that, you go from the developer to the fixer. Okay, the fixer stabilizes the image. So whenever you do practice, whenever you learn something new or you do any kind of applied magic, you want to have that step,
Yeah.
which concretizes it so that it's real, so that it's not just something you're doing in your head, that actually has an effect.
Yes. And then you're seeing the results in your life. And I can also see how this journey, that's first of all, I just want to acknowledge it's a beautiful journey that you're taking participants on. And I'm so excited for all of us who join your course to go on this journey with you. I can also see how in the process of excuse me, claiming your sovereignty and and recognizing your sovereignty, that doing these practices and feeling their effects in your body and in your system, and then seeing how the results are manifesting in your life, that you're also giving yourself permission to do what you need. So on this day, I need the microcosmic orbit. On this day, I need more of the inner smile. And so you'll have this toolkit that you can draw from, but also you will have the inner permission because you've seen the practice working in your life. You've seen it as it's applied. So let me share very quickly about a little bit more about the course. You've just gotten to hear all of the wonderful modules that you're going to be able to explore and dive in on, but I want to share a little bit more about the structure of the course itself. So not only will you get the 7 90-minute live sessions with Sharon, including interactive exercises and Q&A time, you will also get recordings of the sessions, both video and audio. You will get full word-for-word transcripts to work with and study and highlight. You will get weekly exercises and practices for deep inquiry and action learning, and you will get to join our community group to support you and deepen your experience. You also, in addition to those things, will see a number of great bonuses that we've got for you. So you want to go to womensexualenergy.com. That's where you can follow along and learn more about the course. But the bonuses that you will get when you go to womensexualenergy.com, morning and evening meditation. So 2 audios from Sharon, and then working with the I Ching, which is a PDF from Sharon. So those are the bonuses that are going to come with the program. And then there is a special bonus when you sign up today by midnight. So we want to encourage you to go to the page. You're hearing all of these amazing things about this upcoming course and getting very excited. Maybe your body is getting warm like mine is. Maybe you want to move your body, run around the room because you're feeling the excitement. If you are, go to womensexualenergy.com and tune in to yourself while the feeling is fresh and while you're connected to us here in this conversation, and remembering your own experiences with your own breast sexual health, your own breast health, your sexual health, your erotic energy that you've been able to work with. Have a sense that this is a moment to make a decision. If you're feeling called to join us, the incentive that we have for you is Wake Up Your Chi, a 2020 Summit interview with Daisy Lee, which is a video with Sharon and with Daisy. And you can dive in and get started with us. Sharon, do you want to say anything else right now at this point?
Um, I think you did a beautiful job of drawing out the important um, aspects of the course and how relevant they are to women these days. So,
Yes.
yes, if you feel called, come.
Yes. This is the work that you're feeling called to do. This is the something that so many people I think are wondering, what can I do? Or if you're already doing something out in the world but you need to fortify yourself for that work that you're doing, this is an amazing program. It's going to give you permission to give yourself what you need. It's going to give you tools that you're needing, and it's also going to I I always get excited about when we go on these journeys. There's always the portion that you expect, that you're hoping to get, that lights you up and excites you. But I also always love the part that you aren't expecting, that shows up when you're just on your journey and paying attention. And so I just want to bring that into that when we're doing magic, we're inviting ourselves or agreeing to allow ourselves to live in an energetic flow. There's the thing that you expect, and then there's the beautiful something that shows up that you didn't know you needed and didn't know was going to be coming to you. So clearly I'm excited, and Sharon has put so much thought and heart into this. Again, you can find all of the details at womensexualenergy.com, womensexualenergy.com. And we've also kept it very accessible. So it's just 3 payments of $128, or you can save 10% when you pay in full, and that will be one payment of $349. The course starts on October 14th. So I encourage you to go to womensexualenergy.com now, give it a read, tune in. If you're feeling a yes, keep in mind there is no risk since we have a money back guarantee for your satisfaction. And also, I just want to give you a heads up that course sessions are going to be on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. But even if you can't make the live times, you can still get the full value because you will be able to access the recordings right away, as well as the transcripts, and participate in our community group. So we are going to transition over. Sharon, I'm going to hand it over to you so that we can do the practice.
Let's stand up and shake. Just shaking out any stress, any tension. Feel it evaporating from the movement, from the shaking movement, from the pores of your skin. You can make a little noise if you like. Sighing is good. And then you can slowly let that stop and just take a minute and feel whatever energy is available to you running through your body. And then bring your hands together and rub them nice and warm. And while you're rubbing your hands, you can shake your butt. Just shake your tailbone from side to side. Good. And then take your warm hands and bring them in front of your breast. And just take a moment to see if you can feel, to notice if you can feel energy either emanating from your breasts or from your hands. So that means you're bringing your mind and your energy and awareness into your hands and into your breasts. And many of us don't have a big sensory experience of our breaths. They're part of our bodies, but we're not exactly connected with them. So take a few moments and observe your breathing. How every time you inhale, your chest rises. And every time you exhale, your chest gently falls back. And if you prefer to do this sitting down, you can sit or stand, whatever is comfortable to you. But you want to keep your hands there, breathing and observing the movements of respiration. as you inhale and exhale. And at a certain point, you're going to start to feel not only your chest rising and falling, but your breath filling up with qi and breath as you inhale. And as you exhale, it's like the helium being let out of a balloon. Feeling that inhalation and exhalation. Now bring your hands to cup your breasts from underneath. And continue breathing, allowing the warmth of your hands to penetrate through the skin and into your breast tissue. Continue breathing and feeling. And while you're doing this, I invite you to take a moment to concentrate at your mid-eyebrow point, which is the traditional center of vision and imagination. And at that point, see if you can find your inner smile, a feeling of joy and happiness, safety and vitality. And finding this feeling is perhaps the most difficult thing for some of us because we don't feel this way naturally. So I invite you to tune in to your memories. See yourself in a beautiful place in nature, or with a loved one, or perhaps a beloved pet. Maybe you're in a moment of personal validation or success. You've just been awarded a prize, or your book was just published, or you have 100 days of sobriety and a 12-step program. Whatever brings a smile to your face and to your body, your mind, and your spirit, connect with that. And then take your hands right at your mid-eyebrow point. You don't have to touch, just a little bit away from your face. And you're going to take this feeling and you're going to move it down into your eyes, into the tissues of your face, into your sinus cavities and your nostrils, into your mouth and your tongue and your teeth. Move your hands toward your jaw and see if you can release the tension that you might be holding there. And then to your outer ears. And you can move your hands slightly from side to side as if you're flossing your ear canals with love and happiness. And then bring that inner smile down to the lymph nodes just below your jaw. And move your hands now right under your chin. You can have one hand in front of the other like a double beam at the heart points in the centers of the palms. And you're going to bring this smiling energy down to the thyroid and parathyroid glands. Let it bathe your vocal cords. You can move your hands out to your lungs and then down. Bring your inner smile to your breasts And again, hold your breaths from the bottom, like you're cupping them, and feel the warmth in your hands penetrating your breast tissue. Smile to your breaths, love them, appreciate everything that they are for you. They are a part of you. See if you can feel the energy inside your breasts, the nurturing energy. And you want to now massage your breasts. I'm going to just change this a little bit. So just gently moving your hands from the bottom up to the middle and across with the intention of circulating your smiling energy with your nurturing force through your breaths. A lot of this has to do with your mind and your intention. And then you can change directions. And you want to do this with intention, mindfully, and with feeling. And after you've done, let's say 9, we're going to change the direction again. Let's say 4 sets of 9. This is the 3rd set of 9. And then the last set of 9. With intention, with love, to circulate joy, happiness, vitality, safety, love, gratitude. Boy, that's a lot of stuff in our breaths. And nurturing. And then you can stop at your heart point and send this energy down to your navel. And take a moment to observe how you feel. The quality of your inner feeling. Any pulsation, vibration, humming, temperature changes. It's possible that you might want to yawn or burp or sigh. This is all fine. Feel your navel area soft and full of chi, full of gratitude, full of your inner smile, full of the power of the nurturing force that lives in your breath. And you can slowly open your eyes. How are you doing?
I am amazing. That is wonderful. Oh, can I share just
Yes, please.
what I'm noticing? So I noticed I had said when we were having our conversation that I was feeling like I was very buzzy and I wanted to run around the room. And now I'm noticing after doing that, I still feel that, but I feel a lot more clear. Like the column of energy is flowing through me much more clearly. That's amazing. And I feel surprisingly grounded for as I'm feeling as well. That's delicious. Oh, that's amazing. That looked very good. Oh. Oh, okay. Do you want to say anything else? You've said so much and shared so much today, Sharon, but is there anything else that you'd like to share?
Yeah, it just occurred to me that I want to mention again that our world is overly young and we need to balance what's going on in the world with strengthening yin. And the yin energy is getting stronger. Women are getting stronger, but we don't want to get stronger at the expense of our yin. And this is a really wonderful way to find that balance within us. And as more of us find that balance, there will be a greater shift in the world. And we need this.
We definitely do. I know I definitely do. One more time, I just want to encourage you to go to womenssexualenergy.com. Make your decision today. If you do so, you will get the Wake Up Your Chi 2020 Summit interview with Daisy Lee. Sharon, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to have gotten to speak with you and to do these practices to learn more about your course. I know I'm very much looking forward to the course. I'm going to be tuning in. Thank you so much. It's been a joy speaking with you, and thank you for the work that you're doing in the world and the transformation that you're supporting in so many people. It's deeply, deeply needed and much appreciated.
Thank you.